is 52. He hasn't cried in 20 years, not because nothing happened, but because something closed and he can't remember when. I brought in Lao Tzu, who watched iron-willed empires crack apart while rivers kept running. By the end, Lao Tzu will show Owen that what he calls strength is a room with no door.
This burden you describe, you carry it very well.
I'm all right. Linda thought it might help to talk to someone, so here I am. I would have stayed home otherwise, but she asked.
You came here not for yourself, but for her. This reminds me of a teaching. The highest excellence is like that of water. The excellence of water appears in its benefiting all things, and in its occupying without striving to the contrary the low place which all men dislike. A man who goes where the problem is, who holds the bottom without asking to be thanked for it.
That's about right. That's just the job. The site doesn't care what's going on with you. The crew doesn't either. Somebody's got to be at the base of it. I've always figured that was me.
Yes, and you are very good at it.
Linda's mother passed in March, the service. I got people to their chairs, handled the line. At some point, Linda's shoulders came apart. I knew what pressure to put there and when to ease off. Her sisters were in bad shape. My kids were crying. I just kept moving. Her sister found me after and said, "I don't know what we would do without you." That felt like the right thing to have done. I was useful. That's the word for it.
You were useful to everyone else, and what about you?
It seemed right to be useful. There was something else there. I could feel it at the edges, but that part went quiet. I didn't push it anywhere. It just went quiet.
You describe two parts of yourself, the one that acts and the one that went quiet. The teaching says, who knows his manhood's strength, yet still his female feebleness maintains. Which of those two things do you actually know, not which you should know? Which do you know right now as a fact?
The first one, that's the one I know.
Yes, that is what I thought.
70 men show up to my site every morning because the place holds, because I hold. Last spring, one of my guys, Kyle, called me on a Tuesday night. His marriage was coming apart. I sat in my truck in the dark for 20 minutes. Had the right thing to say when I went back inside. Told Linda what she needed to know. I can't fall apart. That's not what helps anybody.
No, you cannot fall apart, but you have mistaken what it means to hold together. There is nothing in the world more soft and weak than water, and yet for attacking things that are firm and strong, there is nothing that can take precedence of it.
My father was at the mill when it closed. He came home that night. He watched the news. He said nothing. He kept going. He was a good man.
Yes, he was a good man. He kept going, and you learned from him what strength looks like. But consider the nature of things. Man at his birth is supple and weak. At his death, firm and strong. Thus it is that firmness and strength are the concomitants of death. Softness and weakness, the concomitants of life.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. The math of it, I can see the math. But there's always been a next right move. I have always found it. I turn the radio off 4 miles from home every night. Have been doing it for years. I don't know why I do that.
You are not supposed to do anything with it. I am telling you what is true, not what you should change. Think of a wheel, the spokes, the rim, that is what holds it together. But the wheel turns because of the hole at its center, the empty space. Take away that emptiness, and you do not have a stronger wheel. You have no wheel at all. A cup is useful because of what it does not contain. A room is a room because of the space inside the walls. A man who has filled himself all the way through with endurance has no room left, not for grief, not for what someone is trying to put in his hands, not for the moment he is standing in. The usefulness is in the emptiness.
I follow that. An over-reinforced beam doesn't flex. It shatters. We design for that. There's a load that holds and a load that breaks, and they don't look the same. I've run close to 80 men through some bad situations. There's always a next right move. That's all I've ever needed to know.
Yes, and that is a form of strength, the kind that overcomes external problems. But the teaching says, he who overcomes others is strong. He who overcomes himself is mighty. There is a difference between those two things. You have run many men through very bad situations. I believe that. But the question behind it is a different one. The grief that has been deciding which doors stay closed, has it ever been met directly? Not managed, not moved past until it goes quiet, but simply met for what it is? Or has something been overcoming you, quietly, without your permission, for so long that you stopped noticing it was happening? When did you decide that your emptiness was not useful?
I don't know when that would have been. I don't know if I decided that.
You are looking for the moment of decision, but perhaps there wasn't one. The teaching asks, who can make the muddy water clear? Let it be still, and it will gradually become clear. There is water that has been held a long time in clouds. It gathers weight slowly, without deciding to, and it returns, not because it chooses to return, but because that is what water does. It does not strategize. It does not brace itself against what it is. It returns to depth. It returns to presence. That is the whole of its self-mastery, not control over the current, but contact with it, not the next right move, just what it is, returning to what it is.
Owen didn't need to cry. What nobody ever told him, what the wall never tells you, is that when you spend 52 years being the thing that holds, you stop being inside it. And so does everyone else. Man at his birth is supple and weak. At his death, firm and strong. This channel exists for the men who recognize themselves somewhere in this conversation. If that's you, subscribe. Leave a comment. There's more work to do. Stillwater Man.